Yeah. Well, so we've got with us Martin Uhlarik, who's the global head of design for Tata Motors, and he's responsible for all their latest cars which have come out, especially this one, the stylish-looking new Sierra. It's in concept form right now, but almost production ready. Martin, thanks a lot for your time. Just wanted to ask you, what has been the philosophy behind the design? You obviously took inspiration from the 90s car,
Yes.
but what are the big challenges? Because it's obviously a much more fresher design, much more bolder design. So what was your thinking and what are the key challenges?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it was to capture the essence of the original. And if you look at the original car, it's fairly clean. It's more function. It's not a lot of superficial lines, very practical design. And I think that's its timelessness. So when we were designing the new one, obviously we had to accommodate an ICE platform, an EV platform, make a modern progressive car, but at the same time capture the DNA of what the Sierra is. So for me, less is more. Reduce all of the lines, simplify it, and also communicate very high quality. This car has to be a modern car. First and foremost, nostalgia comes afterwards.
One of the big highlights of the original Sierra, of course, was that big glass area at the back.
Yes.
Completely sealed. And you had to replicate that with this car. So was that easy for you, or was that something which took its own time and you had to think about it?
It is definitely one of the signatures. You know, the wrap over glass. Obviously, this is a 5-door. The original was only a 3-door. So we have to accommodate a door. All the split lines. And of course, safety is one of our pillars in Tata Motors. So it does have like a cant rail or like a thing, but we have a huge panorama roof. And when you sit in the car later in the year, when we launch the car with the interior, you'll see how much daylight is in the vehicle. That was actually one of the signature experiences of the original Sierras. When you sit in it, it has this panorama experience.
And about the interior, you can see them very, it's not very clear, but you can see them. We've got 3 screens.
Yes.
Across. So what's that? Is that the latest trend internationally, or is it something you plan to do in your future cars as well?
Well, we will be launching it. We call it the coast-to-coast screen, and it will be one of the options that we offer on the interior. You know, the car has to be universal. The Sierra as a nameplate and as a brand is a universal nameplate, and you know, the screen strategy, again, it caters to the customer. You might want only one screen in front of the driver, or you might want 2 or 3. Ultimately, we will offer a menu of choices to the customers, and they will choose the one they want. But for those who want that infotainment experience, that will be the spec that they will be getting.
Okay, and one question I think which you can't really answer, but I'll try and get it out for you. Is it going to be a 4x4? Because that's what everybody wants from Tata cars. The Safari, you of course had some challenges with the platform. The Harrier, it's not a 4x4, but they do have those different modes.
Yeah, I think that's very important to give it the authenticity. And I don't want to say right away, but in a couple of months you'll see, but I think you'll be pleasantly surprised.
Okay, so that's probably a yes. Probably that's the best we can get out of it. Talking about the other cars at the show that you put up, another big star at the show is, of course, the Avinya
Yes.
concept. It's very different from what we saw a couple of years back and the one before. What is that about? Just give us a brief about that design.
Yeah, so this is actually the second model that we're developing under the Avinya brand umbrella. This will be a brand that is positioned above Tata Motors and Tata.EV. The car that you saw 2 years ago, the concept was in many ways the manifesto of what the Avinya DNA will be, but that will also be a production car, and we will be launching that next year. And it is a very low-slung 5-door sports back vehicle. And this is the second model, which is a classic large-scale SUV, very dynamic. So again, a complementary model, but again, following the same DNA that the Avinya brand has.
This one will be the flagship of the entire range.
This will be the flagship.
The entire range.
Yes.
And this will be EV, or will you
Pure
have ICE?
EV. Avinya is only a Gen 3 pure EV brand. So there's no internal combustion equivalent to that. Harrier and Safari are the flagship combustion models we have.
And talking about the new Harrier, the EV, which is almost ready for launch.
Yes.
How different was it? I mean, what were the big challenges in terms of making it different? You had the same platform, obviously you had to differentiate it, just like the Nexon
Yes.
and the Punch. So what did you do with this car? What was
Yeah, I mean, we didn't actually do that much in terms of, from a visual design intervention. Obviously, we have a new front end, communicate that it's an EV, make it far more aerodynamic, so the wheel design is, far more, aerodynamic. We had to accommodate the battery package, so there was some work to the under tray and the floor of the vehicle, and we did a lot of work on the interior in terms of improving perceived quality. Overall, it just has to communicate that it's an EV, but the main signature is that it's four-wheel drive, all-wheel drive, and that gives it that next level of authenticity, if you want to call it.
well? So my last question is, what are your next big projects? Because everybody knows you're launching a lot of cars this year, and it's a lot of cars the next year. What is the big exciting thing coming up from Tata Motors? And also, you've got some work on the Tiago. Some updates are there. So just tell us briefly about that, because that's also a car which a lot of people buy.
Yes, I mean the Tiago, to be honest, we've given it a refresh. We've introduced some new exterior colors, made it far more appealing, young. We have the ICE and the EV on the stand here today. The EV has some work that's been done around the exterior, but the main thing is on the interior, we've really freshened it up. We've given it a lot of new technology, done a lot of improvements on overall quality, and the whole atmosphere feels like a new vehicle, like a new model, even though, again, it's very strategic in what we've done. But the reaction that we've gotten from people is very positive.
Already. So guys, if you're coming at the Auto Expo, the Bharat Community Show, then do visit Tata Motors. They've got the fanciest cars, and they've really got an extensive range. And if you're a kid from the 90s or the early 2000s, then you've also got a bit of nostalgia here for you. The original Tata Sierra, which you don't find on the road anywhere in Delhi. You can see that over here and check it out for yourself. Thank you so much, Martin, for your
Thank
time,
you.
and all the best for the whole year.
Cheers. Thank you.